Hey there, and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Paula. I am the owner of Plan with God Stationery. We are a Christian stationery brand focused on helping Christian women plan with God so that they can live by faith every day. This is going to be a little bit of a studio vlog. So if you watched my very first video, then you would know that I am preparing for my very first market. And it's exciting, it's nerve-wracking, it is all of the things, but I am moving forward slowly but surely. Things are coming together and I'm really excited about that. But before I can get into actually making everything that I need for this market, I first had to sit down and count the cost. I first had to sit down and say, okay, what is it that I need for this market? And based on the budget that I have, what can I get? And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to show you the spreadsheet that I created, but I'm going to be honest and say that I don't have everything. I don't have everything that I feel like I need, for this market. But I truly believe that the Lord is a provider. I believe that when you are walking in the will of God, when you are being obedient to what He's instructing you to do, then He will make sure that you have everything that you need. And one thing that I have had to be very mindful of is, just not comparing myself to other small business owners, specifically handmade business owners, because it's easy to do that, especially in the world of YouTube when so many people are recording their journeys of building their small handmade business. It can be very easy to compare. It can be very easy to feel like, you are behind. But what I'm trying to do is to really just be present in what God is calling me to do. This is very new territory for me. I have, I've never sold handmade goods like this, things that I am making with my own two hands. So just to give you a little bit of insight about Planning with God Stationery, it's kind of twofold. So on the one hand, I do have a planner that I created, and I actually ordered it. I talked about that in my first video, and I actually put in the order. So I'm so excited. The first edition, if you will, or I should say, like, my copy will be coming soon. I think maybe within the next week, hopefully, so I can share that on here. But I am so excited that I actually placed the order. I'm praying that, I formatted everything well and that it comes out okay, because I really would like to show you all here on my channel. So we have the planner, and I also have ideas for more things, or things that can go with the planner. So like a journal or notepads, things of that nature. But those are future ideas. But for right now, I do have the planner. Well, the planner is en route. And then I also have handmade accessories. So I already have some Bible/book sleeves that I made, and I did show that. I think I showed that in my first video. But those are not going to be a continued item in my shop. But since I do have them, I do plan on taking them to the market. And they're also on my Shopify and my Etsy right now as well. So I have those, and then I do have the laptop sleeve that I created. That is also, I don't plan for that to be a continued item either, but I created one, and so I definitely want to take it with me to the market. But it is also on my Shopify and Etsy as well. But what will be a continued item will be zipper pouches in two sizes. I have some small ones and I have some larger ones, and so I think those will be really good to have. And then what else? I'm looking down here at my fabric. Oh, I did sew a tote bag, and I would like to sew a couple more of those, or at least one more of those. I have a pencil case. I'm going to be sewing a couple more of those. And then I might be sewing a Bible sleeve as well. We will see. I don't know, but that is a part of the plan. So that's kind of how the brand is kind of broken up, if you will. It does all come together, and I'm really excited to kind of see how everything just looks when I do this market. I think it's gonna go well. I hope it's gonna go well. I pray that it goes well. I'm not really focused on like a sales goal or anything like that. I honestly just want to be present. I just want to have fun. I want to meet people, customers, other vendors. I just want to be plugged into my community in a very different way. And I really believe that doing things like markets and fairs will definitely allow me to do that. So that may sound very different than a lot of other small business owners, but right now I don't have a sales goal. If I make back my booth fee, or if I make double my booth fee, I think I will be happy with that. And just for context, the booth fee was only $20. So, I'm looking to make $40, right? So, I'm just navigating everything. But let me go ahead and show you my spreadsheet and kind of how I planned everything out. All right, so this is the spreadsheet that I created, and essentially what my focus for this was to see what products am I going to bring. I wanted to narrow that down. I do have other products that are on this spreadsheet, but only what's highlighted at the top is actually what I'm going to bring. Okay, the other things are, future ideas, and it was very hard for me to kind of narrow it down just because I want to bring so much. But, I knew, okay, I have to narrow this down. It's very, very important. So I did that, and then I just started doing my research when it came to the pricing. So I get my fabric at Hobby Lobby. So I knew I could go into Hobby Lobby's app and I can see, okay, how much is, a yard of fabric. I also included the sale price because they do put their fabric on sale at 30% off every other week. So I knew that there was a sale price, but I focused my numbers on the regular price, not the sale price. So I put in here, okay, how much is a yard of fabric, and then how many yards will I need, and then I also included in here, one second, okay, I also included the other materials that I would need. So let's just use the quilted tote bags for example. I know that I need 1.5 yards total for the fabric. That's for the exterior fabric and lining together. I need 1.5 yards. I also need batting for it as well. And the batting that I like to use for those tote bags, I get from Amazon. And so I broke it down and I said, okay, I could make probably three tote bags per pack of batting that I receive. And then I also have the webbing for the straps. That's $7.99 a pack, and I can do 1.5 bags per pack, right? So anyway, if you kind of get down to the nitty-gritty of it, basically I'm now able to see how much does it cost me to make this tote bag. And so that allowed me to also have a point of reference for what my price is going to be, right, for this tote bag. Because if it costs me $25 to make one of these tote bags, then I need to take that into consideration when I am pricing, right? Because if I'm going to put the money back into the business and make more tote bags, then I need to, be able to make enough of a profit to be able to do that. I hope that makes sense. So again, I knew that I could always get fabric on sale. So that would help me to cut costs a little bit, which is really good. But all in all, I have a point of reference for all of my products that I'm going to be bringing to this market, so that I know how much I need to realistically charge for my items. And then what I also did was I looked at, okay, what do I need to actually like display my items, right? So I knew I need a table, I need a tent, obviously, I need a tablecloth, I need little checkout bags, all of those types of things. So I broke everything down here as well, and the budget that I have is $250, and so that is why this spreadsheet was so important, because it's not like I was working with an unlimited amount of money. I had a specific amount of money, and I wanted to make sure that I stayed within that. Okay, so that is pretty much it for the spreadsheet. I hope that that was helpful. If you are, also wanting to do a craft fair or a market, and you are a new handmade business owner such as myself, and you have so much in your brain, and you want to figure out, okay, how do I get this to paper, right? Because I think it's really important that we have a financial plan just as much as we have a plan for products and what we're going to make and what we're going to bring and all of that fun stuff, setting up the displays, all of that. But I think the financial side, and kind of knowing, okay, what is my budget, and with that budget, what can I realistically get? And so again, like I said earlier, there are things that I still need, you guys. Like, I don't have everything, but I'm trusting that by the time this market rolls around, which is on May 2nd, that the Lord will provide for what I still need. And so I have a tent, praise God, but I still need tent weights for that tent. This is going to be an outside market, so I definitely have to have the tent weights. And just more like display type of items, but again, I truly believe that God will provide. And I just want to say this, that I have definitely struggled with, just feeling like, should I do this? You know what I mean? Like, should I be doing this? Maybe I should wait until my son gets older. Maybe I should wait until I'm no longer, working a 9 to 5. Maybe I should wait, until we get a house or whatever. I have gone back and forth in my mind, just because this is so new for me. Like, this is so new. My normal way of life is working a job. Like, owning a business is not, it doesn't come naturally to me, if that makes sense, and so that's the part that I feel like, it's just kind of hard to navigate through some days, because I don't feel like entrepreneurship just comes naturally. And I never want to come off like salesy or, anything like that. I just want to build connections. I want to build community, make relationships, or build relationships with others. And I'm praying that this will allow me to do that. And most importantly, that God will get the glory out of it all. One of the things that I do plan on having at the market, and I actually need to write it down so that I don't forget it, is that I want to have like some sort of a prayer box or something where people can, if they need prayer for something, that they can write it, on that piece of paper or whatever it is, and they can, put it in this box, and I can pray for people, and just really make sure that I'm keeping God at the forefront, not just in my life, like in my private day to day, but I want people to know when they come to my table that I'm all about Jesus. And all of this business is all about Jesus, and he will be glorified. Something that someone said to me, or that I heard someone say one time, they said, ministry is not a business, but your business can be ministry. And I believe that is so true. I think that it is so true. And I want to take this business and I want it to be ministry first, right? I want it to be ministry first. And so I'm just believing that God will guide me along the way. If you've ever done, or if you are a small business owner, and you've done fairs and markets and that sort of thing, I would love your tips. I would love for you to drop some tips below. How was your very first event? How did it go? What do you remember? What are the lessons that you learned? What did you really enjoy? Did you question yourself? How confident were you going into it? Like, I want to hear the stories. I look on YouTube and, there are women that I do follow and I follow their journey and I love hearing their story. But I know that there are so many others out there as well. And I would love to know everybody's journey, right? I would love to know everybody's journey. So I know this wasn't like the most exciting the most exciting vlog ever, but I did want to make sure that I come on here, even though it's night, okay, like in the robe and everything, but I definitely wanted to come on and just kind of share my heart a little bit, talk to you about kind of how I'm planning and preparing for the market. I got all my fabric and stuff. You see my sewing machine, that's what's under here. And so I'm just, yeah, you guys, I'm just trying to put one foot in front of the other. So yeah. But all right, thank you so much for tuning into another video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.